You guys know what's great about going to an antique mall, or really any place where you can do some thrifting, is that you're always going to find some interesting bits of history in there. Now sure, it might all look like one big pile of junk on the surface, but if you know what you're looking for, and with the right kind of research, you could actually turn a place like this into a dang museum of modern pop culture history. Because it's all here. Movies, restaurants, characters, brands, even stuff from theme parks. So I figured, what better topic for me to cover in a place like this than a subject that combines all of those things. Glasses from fast food places.
Now McDonald's introduces the Great Muppet Caper Glasses. Get a different glass each week.
Because I always see these in here. These glasses and other collectible drinkware from fast food restaurants. And what's cool about stuff from there is that these items are usually the only stuff that survives after the old promotional runs are over. The rest of that history just kind of gets forgotten. But it's all still out there, just collecting dust on a shelf right now. And I'm curious to see what all we can learn just from finding some of these. Like, take for example this Minnie Mouse Disney glass. Now, you might not know it just from looking at it, but this thing is at least 45 years old. Okay, Unc. From what I've seen looking these things up, collectors' glasses like these were very common in the late 70s and 80s at various fast food chains. The style is very common, even outside of the Disney characters. And you can see, this one says Pepsi Collector Series on the side, because, somewhat interestingly, while you did get these old glasses at fast food restaurants back then, they weren't actually made by the fast food chains. No, they were usually produced by the big soda companies, and were then distributed at the various restaurants that sold those respective products. Whether it be Coke or Pepsi.
Burger King presents 4 bright, colorful Star Wars glasses.
So for example, these Disney ones here are from Pizza Hut, since the company behind Pepsi had actually just bought that chain a year before these glasses came out. That was back in 1977.
Mickey's here on glasses at Pizza Hut. Get Mickey Mouse and all his lovable friends on 16-ounce glasses when you buy a large Pepsi or Team for just 69 cents.
It's just kind of surprising that these early ones weren't actually tied to any specific chain or restaurant like you might assume. It almost felt more like a promotion Pepsi was doing than the fast food places. That was just where you'd go to get them. Kind of weird. And these weren't the first character tie-ins that Pepsi did either. Because even before the Disney glasses, they also did a few sets of Looney Tunes ones a couple years earlier. That time for Hardee's back in 1975.
This year you can have lots of laughs at Hardee's. When you order a medium-sized Pepsi for 49 cents, you can
Hey, I've seen that one before. Yeah, I'm gonna get all this crap out of the way. Yeah, this one is from 1977. And you could tell because they actually did a few different runs of these Looney Tunes ones over the years at Hardee's. This one is from the second set they did, where they had multiple characters on the same glass that time.
This year Hardee's is going twice as loony. Just order a medium-sized Pepsi for 49 cents and get a glass with a pair of characters that'll drive you daffy.
And that is not to be confused with the older set that Hardee's did, which came out a year earlier, and only has the one character per glass. Yeah, as seen here with Bugs Bunny.
I like Bugs Bunny because he's tricky.
These old glasses are such a remnant of when people actually went to fast food restaurants. Like, actually went into fast food restaurants. And ate in there, if you can believe it. Yeah, they didn't just only go inside to pick up delivery orders like today. Even something as simple as just like eating at a Pizza Hut, getting served a soft drink at a fast food place, in a glass. You just barely see stuff like that nowadays, but obviously it was once common enough for people to be bringing home collectible glasses, and from so many different places.
And where can you find them? Pizza Hut. Just order a medium or large Pizza Hut pan pizza and get 2 16-ounce ET glasses for 99 cents.
You mean to tell me I gotta go all the way to Pizza Hut for my 2 ET glasses? Man, that's a sit-down restaurant. I can't afford to eat out right now.
Can't believe all the stuff in this pizza.
Well, funny enough, those 2 ET glasses might actually be the best deal I've seen with these. Because the real reason collectible glasses caught on with so many different places back then was because they were a great way of getting people to keep coming back to the restaurant week after week for a different one each time. Since they were always limited time items and you could very easily miss out on one.
And here's the nicest part of the whole offer. There are only 2 glasses every week, so you have to keep coming back to get the whole set. And you know why that's so nice? Because the place you have to keep coming back to is Taco Bell.
Santa wants me to go to Taco Bell? I guess he does. So all of that is to say that we got dozens of these different pieces from the 70s and 80s still floating around to this very day. And like I mentioned, multiple different soda brands were making their own for different chains back then. So there's quite a lot out there.
And Jabba the Hutt.
I wonder how many we can even find. I guess just sticking with Hardee's for now. You also got these SMURF glasses from the early 80s.
I'm getting a Hardee's chicken fillet. I want 2 cheeseburgers. Look, SMURF glasses. Yeah.
If you order a medium Pepsi for 99 cents or less plus tax, you'll get a SMURF glass.
These ones are a little bit weird too because Hardee's is also apparently selling this new SMURF punch to go along with it at the same time.
You make a perfect cake for lunch and try Hardee's new SMURF Party Punch.
I already checked it out and there is absolutely no info about SMURF Party Punch anywhere online. You know, aside from these commercials and eBay listings selling these old glasses. Wow, it's not a bad deal. Anybody want one of these? But this is exactly what I was talking about with these glasses and basically every single item in here. Because the original SMURF Punch promotion is long gone now. Hardee's doesn't sell it as a drink anymore. Naturally, people forgot about it and there's barely any other recorded history out there. But we still have these glasses. I still see them in here all the time. There's probably SMURF fans out there right now with these in their collection, and they have no idea it was part of some forgotten specialty drink from the 80s.
You want to have a really happy SMURF day? Try our new SMURF Party Punch. Only at Hardee's.
They're just this weird sole remnant of the whole thing ever even happening. You see, you never know what kind of obscure history you'll come across with this stuff. You just gotta look. We also got this Muppets glass, looks like, featuring Miss Piggy. This one, of course, to promote the Great Muppet Caper when that first came out back in 1981.
The Great Muppet Caper glasses are disappearing fast. At McDonald's, yes, time's running out, and this may be the last chance you'll have to get a glass with a scene from the new Great Muppet Caper movie.
Yeah, well, we know that's not true. You can still get one of these today. That's right, only a fool rushes to McDonald's to get a Muppets glass. The wise men wait. They know it'll come to them.
And since supplies are limited, you'd better hurry on over before your favorite glass is gone.
These are also the first ones we've seen from McDonald's so far, so they gotta be made by Coke, considering the exclusive partnership those two brands have had since the 1950s. And you can kind of see, but they do have a different style and shape to them than the Pepsi ones. McDonald's is actually kind of interesting in this regard, because they might have been the ones who accidentally started this whole souvenir cup thing years earlier. Because 1970 was when they released the first Happy Cup, which is just a little plastic yellow cup you could buy alongside your meal. Same kind of idea as the glasses.
Your kids can have fun collecting all 6, and you can put them in the dishwasher.
The guy who actually came up with the idea for that did an interview with the Kansas City Star in 2004. First came the Happy Cup, which for Bernstein originally had a different name. Back then, everything was happy, he said. So when I came up with the fun glass, they suggested I call it the Happy Cup, which showed Ronald McDonald with his flying hamburger. It was the first premium product ever created for the company. Excuse me, did you just say Ronald McDonald's flying hamburger?
And now to get my flying hamburger started. Hey, wait for me!
Oh my good lord. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. I mean, do you see how original you had to be back in the 70s with this stuff? You had to invent a flying hamburger just to get the kids interested. Now they just make a deal with SpongeBob or something. But these commercials really just show you how much Ronald, and by extension him being on these first cups, was meant to appeal to kids. And even more interesting, the McDonald's Happy Cup actually came out about 9 years before the Happy Meal did. So we might have never seen those if they didn't try these cups first. McDonald's did eventually join in on the collector's glasses too. And the earliest of those are from 1977, with the original Glasses to Go series.
Glasses to go, glasses to go. McDonald's has McDonald Land, glasses to go.
Which was popular enough to be followed up by the Action series that same year, which features the same characters, just moving around in some way.
It's glasses to go at McDonald's.
It's just kind of funny that McDonald's was actually late to the game with the whole collector's glasses thing. Because remember, places like Hardee's had them all the way back in 1975. But it makes a lot more sense when you learn about the Happy Cup, and see that's what led to these glasses. Because the second set of those they released, the Action series, actually shared the same design with some of the Happy Cups. It's kind of crazy. I've always seen these glasses, but never knew about that history or the connection there. The McDonald's ones are also famous for being the first glasses to really raise concerns over the whole lead paint thing with these, which is a major issue with pretty much all these old glasses if you haven't heard. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the only thing most people even knew about the collector's glasses was the lead paint thing.
They are collectible drinking glasses featuring cartoon characters, comic book heroes. But these splashes of color also come with potentially dangerous metals. Laboratory testing commissioned by the Associated Press also found high levels of the even more dangerous cadmium.
I mean, even to this day, you can't post a pic of one of these on Reddit as your cool thrift store find without somebody warning you not to use it. Guys, whatever happened to let people enjoy things? Let them enjoy the lead, and the cadmium, and the mercury, and all the other metals from the periodic table this thing has to offer. I always figured the lore of these things being toxic was something people didn't figure out until decades later, but I got a news article from 1977 about it. The Food and Drug Administration has announced Sunday that the painted cartoons on the outside of McDonald's glasses contain lead, but is not ordering a recall because there is, quote, no indication of an acute health hazard. Well, that is great news. I mean, can you imagine how expensive these things would be now if they stopped selling them back then? You can get these things dirt cheap today. In all fairness, the Glasses to Go program was ultimately suspended by McDonald's after this news broke. And in a follow-up article by the New York Times, McDonald's said they wouldn't distribute them again until the agencies could establish a definitive policy regarding decorated glasses, which kind of spelled the end of them doing these at the time. But the Happy Meal was already in the works by the late 1970s for McDonald's, so losing out on the glasses wasn't that big of a deal.
With games, puzzles, jokes, and a prize.
A prize?
It's a
One thing about these old collector's glasses, whenever you find them though, is that there's usually a couple different versions out there from over the years. It's kind of easy to get all these slightly different sets mixed up sometimes, but you can see the differences more clearly when you get two of them from both sets next to each other.
Ahoy! How about a cheeseburger for me?
Oh no, Captain Crook, not till you learn to smile.
Oh, really? Watch this.
You can see right here what I was talking about with the different versions of these things. Because the Tweety Bird on the left is one of the original Pepsi ones from Hardee's in 1975. You can even see it in the old commercials.
I love it, because he's so cute.
But the one on the right is from 1979, and it's a totally different type of glass, even though they're both made by Pepsi. For whatever reason, you see the shape on the right a lot more in the 80s with these glasses, and the taller, more tapered looking ones are more common back in the 70s. Because jumping ahead to 1983, and now you have the Peanuts tie-in with McDonald's, which was that same shorter style of glass.
Charlie Brown and the gang are camping out at McDonald's on 16-ounce glasses designed by Charles Schultz.
Oh yeah, McDonald's, glad to see you're doing glasses again. I hope this means we got that lead business taken care of. Yeah, I was kind of curious about why the Peanuts even had a tie-in with McDonald's back then. You know, usually these are done to promote something new coming out, movies and whatnot. Even better, 1983 is when they opened the first Camp Snoopy Land at Knott's Berry Farm out in California.
We have Snoopy. Here at Knott's, we have Snoopy. Here at Knott's, you can come and see Snoopy. Here at Knott's, he's here all summer long.
If you didn't know, Camp Snoopy was actually the first Peanuts-themed land at any major theme park in the United... Hold up, is Snoopy ice skating down there?
He's here all summer long.
How's he gonna ice skate in the summer? Doesn't make any sense. Digging around for a bit more info, somebody had an old blog post talking about the history of Camp Snoopy at Knott's. Apparently, the whole thing got started when the park was creating a new ice skating show in the 80s. They approached Charles Schulz, who created the Peanuts comic strip, for rights to use Snoopy in their next ice skating show. Schulz then lit up and said, "Ooh, do you think my daughter Jill can be in the show as Snoopy?" Immediately they got the okay to use Snoopy in the park, and it was a hit in 1982. Guys, that is probably the most adorable theme park origin story I've ever heard. You know how rare it is to have a wholesome origin story for a theme park? Surprisingly rare.
Surprise! Snoopy's at Knott's all summer long. Come on, see him in our all-new Ice Spectacular and shake his paw as he roams around the park.
Now, obviously using a popular character like Snoopy in the show, and just having him in the park turned out to be successful. So much so, The ice skating show even got a Christmas version later that same year.
So Snoopy skated through summer, and he was such a hit, he stayed over for Christmas.
But the whole expansion for the park with Camp Snoopy, that didn't come until about a year later in mid-1983. It's official! Snoopy will now have his own home at Knott's Berry Farm. The beloved Beagle, who's been greeting guests while strolling through the farm since last May, will be at home beginning this summer in Camp Snoopy, our new $8 million children's play area. There was a definite philosophy in the design of Camp Snoopy, according to General Manager Terry Van Gorder. It was designed for the entire family to enjoy together in a natural setting. Families will be able to interact much more in Camp Snoopy than is possible in most other amusement parks. You can talk here, they're gonna let you talk to each other.
It's a whole world of special excitement and it's wild!
You know, that's the real problem with going to Disneyland, right? There's no room for interpersonal communication.
But this is no small task because unlike any other park, Knott's is creating rides that parents and kids can ride together.
Yeah, I can't think of any other places that do that. Apparently the whole theme with Camp Snoopy is based off the California High Sierra.
A complete playground where kids and grown-ups alike can play just like they're way up in the High Sierras.
And they lean heavily into the whole nature aesthetic with this land and the attractions, obviously. But it is kind of interesting that this opened back in the early 80s. Because even Grizzly Peak at Disney's California Adventure, arguably the more famous land based on the Sierra Nevada region in the state, that didn't open until almost 20 years later in 2001.
The new park is actually divided into 3 themed lands. Golden State is a tribute to California's heritage and natural wonders.
Well, no wonder Disney felt so confident opening a California-themed theme park in California. Knott's already showed him how nice it would be.
I had so much fun, I'm gonna ask Dad if we can stay there all summer.
But they did actually have Charles Schulz involved with this whole design process too. Oh, look at him out there checking out the models and everything. He's loving this.
When you come to Knott's, it surely leaves a trace. You've got Knott's Berry Farm all over your face.
What? But I guess that also explains why they emphasize that the McDonald's glasses were actually designed by him. You know, the original creator.
On 16-ounce glasses specially designed by Charles Schulz.
Since he was still around and actually a part of making all this stuff happen, McDonald's being a part of this is actually weirder than you might expect. Because this is apparently the first time they ever even did a national promotion with a theme park up until this point. They put $10 million into advertising on TV for it, which is why there even are commercials for these glasses.
Great work, team. What know-how, discipline, determination.
McDonald's and you.
It's just weird that they never mention or show the theme park itself in any of these McDonald's commercials. Just the concept of Camp Snoopy. Like, if you were watching them now, you might have no idea these glasses were done to promote something at Knott's back then. I mean, I was almost questioning it myself, but no, McDonald's was promoting that new land with these. Because they also had Camp Snoopy themed tray liners at the restaurants, they had the glass collection, they even gave you a discount for park tickets inside of each glass when you bought one. Guys, I don't want a coupon in my drink, I just want some soda. And yet, despite this whole multi-million-dollar partnership taking place, there is no trace of Knott's Berry Farm on these glasses. Just Camp Snoopy. Which most people might not even know is a land at a theme park. They might just think that's something from the Peanuts. Seriously, how many people out there right now probably just own these because they like the Peanuts characters, and they don't know or care about theme park stuff at all? All the while, that land and the story behind it, that's the only reason these things exist in the first place.
But I'm in love with Snoopy, and I'm glad Snoopy is going to have a camp and stay with us.
It's always weird how this stuff can kind of take on a life of its own once it becomes a collector's item and lives way longer than the old promotion itself. I guess you really don't need to know the history behind an item to still like it for some reason.
I like the Roadrunner because he's fast.
Supplies are limited.
And this is pretty much the end of these kind of character glasses for fast food places. Because the Camp Snoopy set, that was the very last set of actual drinking glasses McDonald's put out in the 1980s. And most other fast food chains had phased out their glass drinkware by that point too. The best you can hope for by the time you get to the 90s was just plastic cups. There's really nothing like those old character glasses from the 70s and 80s today. Well, that is, except for the ones that are still around from the 70s and 80s today, which is still quite a lot, although you will probably not see me drinking from them. I'll tell you that right now. I gotta say, it was a lot of fun poking around in here and looking for the hidden history with all this stuff. I still barely scratched the surface, even with just collectible glasses, so expect to see me back in here again. Because trust me, there is an infinite amount of topics to find in a place like this. You just gotta know what to look for.
'Cause you're doing what you want to do. When you come to Knott's, it surely leaves a trace. You've got Knott's Berry Farm all over your face.